Hi everyone, my name is Courtney and I'm Fiber Fox Studios. Welcome to Mosaic Monday. For today's tutorial, we're going to be working on this cute little staggered heart design that I came up with, and we're going to be working in mosaic crochet, of course, but I am going to also show you in this tutorial at the end how to do these color changes. When we're doing our color changes, we are going to be including a little bit of tapestry crochet so that we can have two colors on the same row. So we'll be changing out color B and working with two color Bs for two different rows if you are wanting to do a color change. So as we're working, you can keep it solid and just use two colors and never change out. But if you are going to do a color change, but I do take you through that instruction at the end of this video, so don't worry, I'll teach you what to do. Now, to get started, we're going to be working in a multiple of 16 plus 4 if you're going to work flat. You, of course, can work in the round, and I give that instruction as well when we start working row 1. And this is what your back side is going to look like. And we're going to jump into the tutorial now, so grab your yarn, your favorite crochet hook, jump down to my description. All of the yarn colors that I'm using. I also link the crochet hook that I use along with tons of other extra information and the row start times for all the different sections of the video and every row. So jump down, check out that description, and let's get started. So we will begin by working in color A, chaining in our multiple of 16. So we're going to chain 16 over and over as many times as you would like. And then if you were working flat, you are going to add 4 more chains to your chain count. So for an example, I have chained 2 repeats of 16. So that was 32 stitches. And I have chained on 4 more. So I have a total of 36 starting chains on my flat swatch. If you're going to work in the round, you are just simply going to chain in the multiple of 16 over and over, and then you will slip stitch to the first chain that you made to form a ring. Make sure you don't twist this chain, and then you'll begin working the repeats given in this video in that same stitch that you slip stitch into. We are making a tube. There are project ideas about why you would work it this way down in the description, and I've done all the math for you on the different project ideas down there. So we're going to begin row 1 now. If you're not ready, just simply pause and meet back up with me when you are ready for row 1. To begin row 1, all we need to do is skip the first chain from our hook. So we're going to skip this chain and move here to the second chain and do a traditional single crochet. So we're working completely in the stitch, going under the V. And this is how we will work the start of every single row. It's also how we end every single row. So from here, single crochet just like normal. Our repeat for row 1 is a back loop only single crochet worked in each and every stitch except for the last stitch. So we're going to work a back loop only single crochet by picking up just that back loop, just the one side of the stitch, and then you single crochet just like normal from there. So that's all we need to do. For the rest of the tutorial, I will call these single crochets, and you will just know that when we're working our repeat stitches, all single crochets in our repeats are always done by working in the back loop only. That is what makes it mosaic, is the position of the stitch and nothing else. So you're going to continue on down your row, and then you will meet up with me when you have 1 stitch left. We are now here at the end of row 1, and we have 1 stitch left to work into. At the end of every single row, you will always work your final stitch of the row by doing a traditional single crochet. So we're going in the complete stitch under the V. Right there, you can see it. And we do single crochet just like normal. From here, you can chain up 2 and bind off, or you can bind off however you prefer. I just happen to do the chain up 2 and cinch it down to form the knot. And that's how I bind off. So we're going to return to the start of our row. We don't turn our work or anything. And we're going to come here and we're going to identify the very first stitch of our row. You want to take a look. Let's get into focus camera. There we go. So here at the start of our row, we want to go into the complete stitch again. So we're going to go in the stitch under the V. And we'll know that we have this little bump here that we can scoot down out of the way. That's our turning chain. We do not ever want to work into that. So we're going to make sure we're in our complete first stitch. And then you're going to grab color B and join on color B to your work. This is how you'll be joining on all of your colors. So we grab our yarn, we pull up the loop. We grab our working yarn and the tail and chain 1. Now we go back into the same exact stitch, drop the tail, let it fall over here to the side out of our way, or pin it. And then we grab our working yarn and pull up our loop. And now we grab our yarn and we pull through all those little loops. And that's how we finish out our traditional single crochet and join on our new color at the start of every row. We're going to now move on to our repeat for row 2. Row 2's repeat is very simple. We're placing a single crochet in each and every stitch. And as we learned when we're working our repeat, making sure that we're picking up only the one side. There's 1. And we're going to go down our entire row, working a single crochet in every stitch. And then the last stitch of the row will be a traditional single crochet, making sure you go into that complete stitch. That helps you keep nice, straight, even sides. So we're going to move on now to finish out this row, and we'll meet back up for row 3 in just a moment. We're now moving on to row number 3. We are working in color A, and I've already joined on with my traditional single crochet in the first stitch. Row 3's repeat begins by doing 8 single crochets over the next 8 stitches. So identify our next stitch, again working. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. In our next stitch, we're going to work a double crochet, and this is how all of our double crochets are going to be worked. This is how you do them for mosaic. So we wrap our yarn and we identify our next stitch, slide directly down 2 rows below, and we're picking up this front loop. Now we're going to grab our yarn and pull up a loop. And from here, it's just like a normal double crochet. We're going to grab and pull through 2, grab and pull through 2. So that's how we work all of our double crochets. And now we're going to move on with the end of our repeat for row 3, which is 7 single crochets. To make sure you are working in the correct stitch, the next stitch, you can always fold back this double crochet, and each double crochet that you work will take up 1 stitch back here on this row. So when we put this double crochet back in place, it covers up that single crochet behind it, and we know that this next stitch here is our next stitch. So we're going to begin doing our 7 single crochets. So here's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number 7. That ends our repeat for row 3. So let's recap what we've done. Row 3's repeat began with 8 single crochets, 1 double crochet, and 7 single crochets ends that repeat. So you will start back over and work 8 single crochets next and continue working that exact set of stitches over and over. We'll do the repeat one more time together for the new people. If you're not new, you know how to skip ahead. You know I've got the row start times down below. So now we're going to begin row 3's repeat for the second time. Our repeat begins with 8 single crochets. So here's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1 double crochet, and we'll end our repeat by working 7 single crochets. Here's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number 7. So that ends our repeat. So again, we started over here with 8 single crochets, 1 double crochet, and we end with 7 single crochets. So you're just working 8 singles, 1 double, 7 singles over and over all the way down your row. And that means you will have this long stretch where we have our repeat ending and beginning again, and it's all single crochets. And that's correct. So now we're going to work the row end together. This is how we'll be working all of our row ends. At the end of each row, you will find that you have 2 stitches left. You're going to restart your repeat for 1 stitch and work that in the second to last stitch. And then in our very last stitch of the row, we always do our traditional single crochet. So for row 3, our repeat starts with a single crochet. So that's what we would work here in the next stitch. And then we have our traditional single crochet in the very last. And then we bind off. So by doing that, you will notice that your end of your row now has a total of 8 single crochets right here to the repeat before our border stitch. And the beginning of your row, our repeat started with 8 single crochets. So they now match row end and row start. It's easier to tell when I lay it flat. So I'll show you that when we start row 4 now. Row 4 begins now, and as you can see, now that it's flat, your row beginning and your row end, they look alike, they match. So now we're going to move on to row 4, and we are working in color B. Row 4's repeat begins by doing 1 single crochet, 6 double crochets, there's number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, and number 6. Three single crochets, 1, 2, and 3. 6 double crochets, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. That ends our repeat. So let's recap what we've done. Row 4's repeat began with 1 single crochet, 6 double crochets, 3 single crochets, 6 double crochets ends the repeat. So you'll be starting back over with the single crochet and you'll continue to work that exact set of stitches on down your row. Remember, at the end of your row, you will have 2 stitches left. You will restart your repeat for 1 stitch and then do your traditional single crochet in the last stitch of the row. Row 5 begins now, and we are working in color A. Row 5's repeat begins by doing 1 double crochet, 6 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 6 single crochets will end our repeat. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, number 5, and number 6. So that ends our repeat. So let's recap what we've done. Row number 5's repeat began with 1 double crochet, 6 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, and then we work 6 single crochets to end that repeat. So continue to work on down your row and meet up with me when you're ready for row 6. Row 6 begins now, and we are working in color B. Our repeat for row 6 begins with 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, 3 double crochets. Here's number 1. Two, and number 3. 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. 1 double crochet. 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And we will end our repeat by doing 1 single crochet here in this next stitch. So that ends our repeat. So let's recap what we've done. Row 6 repeat begins with 2 single crochets, 3 double crochets, 3 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 3 double crochets, and we end with 1 single crochet there in that last stitch. So now you're going to move on down your row with starting out with your 2 single crochets and continue to work on down your row, and then we'll meet up for row 7 in just a moment. Row 7 begins now, and we are working in color A. Row 7's repeat begins with 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 1 double crochet, 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And we will end our repeat by working 1 double crochet right here in this next stitch. That ends our repeat. So let's recap what we've done. Row 7's repeat began with 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 5 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1 double crochet. And that is all you need to do. So keep working that exact set of stitches, and then we'll meet back up when you're ready for row number 8. We are now moving on to row number 8. We are working in color B. Row 8's repeat begins with 1 double crochet, 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 5. 5 single crochets will end our repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that ends our repeat. So let's recap what we've done. Row number 8 began with 1 double crochet, 5 single crochets, 5 double crochets, and we end with 5 single crochets. So start back over at the beginning of the repeat and continue to work on down your row. We'll meet back up when you are ready for row number 9. Row 9 begins now, and we are working in color A. Row 9's repeat begins by doing 1 single crochet, 2 double crochets. Here's number 1. And number 2. 11 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and we will end our repeat by working 2 double crochets. Here's number 1. And number 2. Oops. And that ends our repeat. So let's recap what we have done. Row number 9's repeat began with 1 single crochet, 2 double crochets, 11 single crochets, 2 double crochets, ends that repeat. So you will keep working that exact set of stitches all the way down your row, and we'll be back for row number 10 in just a moment. Row number 10 begins now, and we are working in color B. Row 10's repeat begins with 1 double crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, 11 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Now we'll end our repeat by doing 2 single crochets over these next 2 stitches. There's 1 and number 2. So that ends our repeat. So let's recap what we've done. Row number 10's repeat began with 1 double crochet, 2 single crochets, 11 double crochets, and we will end with 2 single crochets. So continue to work on down your row and meet up with me when you're ready for row number 11. Row 11 begins now, and we are working in color A. Row 11's repeat begins by doing 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 13 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and number 13. One double crochet will end our repeat. So now we're done. Let's recap. So row 11's repeat began with 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 13 single crochets, and we end with 1 double crochet. So you will continue to work that exact set of stitches on down your row, and we will meet back up when you're ready for row number 12. Row 12 begins now, and we are working in color B. Row 12's repeat begins by doing 2 single crochets, 1 and number 2. 13 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. 1 single crochet to end our repeat. So let's recap what we've done. Row 12's repeat began with 2 single crochets, 13 double crochets, and we end with 1 single crochet. So continue to work that exact set and meet up with me for row 13. Row 13 begins now, and we are working in color A. Row 13's repeat begins by doing 1 double crochet, and then we will work 15 single crochets to end our repeat. Kind of a very short one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and number 15. So that ends our repeat. So let's recap. Row 13's repeat began with 1 double crochet, and then we work 15 single crochets. So you're going to work that exact set over and over on down your row. We'll meet up for row 14 in just a moment. Row 14 begins now, and we are working in color B. Row 14's repeat is very simple. We're going to work 1 single crochet, followed by 15 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and number 15. So that ends our repeat for row 14. So let's recap it. Row 14's repeat begins with 1 single crochet, and it ends with 15 double crochets. So continue to work on down your row, and we will meet up for row 15. Row 15 begins now, and we are working in color A. Row 15's repeat is very simple. We're going to work 1 double crochet, (15 single crochets), 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So that ends our repeat. So let's recap it. Row 15's repeat began with 1 double crochet and it ends with 15 single crochets. So continue to work on down your row and meet up for row 16. Row 16 begins now and we are working in color B. Row 16's repeat begins by doing 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, 6 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. 1 single crochet, 6 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. And we will end our repeat by working 1 single crochet. So that ends our repeat. Let's recap it. Row number 16's repeat began with 2 single crochets, 6 double crochets, 1 single crochet, 6 double crochets, and we end with 1 single crochet. So keep working on down your row and meet up with me for row number 17. Row 17 begins now and we are working in color A. Row 17's repeat begins by doing 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 6 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1 double crochet, 6 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we will end the repeat by doing 1 double crochet. So that ends our repeat. So let's recap it. Row number 17's repeat began with 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 6 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 6 single crochets, and we end with 1 double crochet. So continue to work on down your row, and we'll meet up for row 18 in just a moment. Row 18 begins now, and we are working in color B. Row 18's repeat begins by doing 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3. 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and number 3. Three single crochets, 1, 2, and number 3. 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And we will end our repeat by doing 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So that ends our repeat. So let's recap what we've done. Row number 18's repeat began with 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 3 double crochets, 3 single crochets, 3 double crochets, and we end with 3 single crochets. So continue working that set of stitches down your row and meet up with me for row 19. Row number 19 begins now, and we are working in color A. Row number 19's repeat begins with 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3. 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 1 double crochet, and 2 single crochets will end our repeat. 1 and 2. So that ends the repeat. Let's recap. Row number 18's repeat began with 3 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1 double crochet, and we end with 2 single crochets. Continue on down your row with this exact set, and we'll meet up for row 20. Row 20 begins now, and we are working in color B. Row 20's repeat begins with 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and number 3. 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1 double crochet, 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 double crochets will end the repeat. 1 and number 2. So let's recap what we have done. Row 20's repeat began with 3 double crochets, 5 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 5 single crochets, and we end with 2 double crochets. So keep working on down your row, and we'll be back for row 21. Row 21 begins now, and we are working in color A. Row 21's repeat begins by working 6 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. 2 double crochets, 1, and number 2. 1 single crochet, 2 double crochets, 1, and number 2. 5 single crochets will end our repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 5. So that ends our repeat. So let's recap what we've done. Row 21's repeat began with 6 single crochets, 2 double crochets, 1 single crochet, 2 double crochets, and we end with 5 single crochets. So start back over and work your 6 single crochets next and continue on down your row. You'll have 11 single crochets across this section when you work it. So we'll be back in just a moment. Row 22 begins now, and we are working in color B. Row 22's repeat begins by working 6 double crochets. So here's number 1. 2. Oops. 3. 4. 5. And number 6. 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. 1 double crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and we will end the repeat by working 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That ends our repeat, so let's recap it. Row 22's repeat began with 6 double crochets, 2 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 single crochets, and we end the repeat with 5 double crochets. So you will start back over and begin working the start of the repeat, and that means during this section right here, you'll have a total of 11 single crochets through there. That is correct. So continue to work, and we'll be back for row 23. Row 23 begins now, and we are working in color A. Row 23's repeat begins by working 7 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, and we end the repeat by working 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. So that ends our repeat. So let's recap it. Row number 23's repeat began with 7 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, and then we end with 6 single crochets. Start back over at the beginning of the repeat and keep working on down your row. We'll be back for row 24. Row 24 begins now, and we are working in color B. Row 24's repeat begins with 7 double crochets. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number 7. 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And we will end the repeat by working 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. So that ends our repeat. Let's recap it real quick. Row number 24's repeat began with 7 double crochets, 3 single crochets, and we end the repeat with 6 double crochets. So you'll start back over at the beginning of the repeat and continue to work. We'll be back for row 25. Row 25 begins now, and we are working in color A. Row 25's repeat begins with 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and number 8. 1 double crochet, and we end the repeat by working 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number 7. So that ends our repeat. So let's recap. Row 25's repeat began with a total of 8 single crochets, 1 double crochet, and then we work 7 single crochets. So continue that exact set of stitches all the way down your row, and we'll be back for row 26. Row 26 begins now, and we are working in color B. Our repeat for row 26 begins with 8 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and number 8. 1 single crochet, and we will end the repeat by working 7 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number 7. So that ends our repeat. Let's recap. Row number 26, repeat begins with 8 double crochets, 1 single crochet, and we end with 7 double crochets. So you'll continue to work, and we'll meet up one final time to talk about how you grow your project and how you finish up the final repeat and all that good stuff. So we'll be back in just one moment. So after you've finished row 26, this is what your work will look like, and you've completed the repeats needed. Now, to grow your project and to continue up, building it out, you are going to rewind back in this same video to row 3 and work rows 3 through 26 as many times as you would like. Once you complete your final repeat, or if you were just going to do one section in your project with this design, to end, you will, after your row 26 has been completed, work rows 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So rows 3 through 7 will give you the end of this heart up here, and that will make it have a nice, a more even look to it. It's designed to be staggered hearts going up, so just finish out that last heart by working rows 3 through 7 as your final rows on your project. So now we're going to work on the color change. There's 2 rows in this pattern where you can switch out color B and bring in a new color so that the next heart that you see is in a completely different color. The way that we're doing this is we're going to be working our repeats just like normal, but in a few places on our row as we're working that repeat, we're going to be bringing in the old color B so that we can finish out the top of our previous heart. We want to make sure that we're finishing out the previous heart in the same color, or a similar color for those of you who are doing like an ombre effect, because a drastic color change would disrupt the flow of the design and you wouldn't really see the heart anymore. So we do this little tapestry technique combined with our mosaic crochet to make those color changes, and they end up looking like this when we've worked it. So on this particular piece, I have restarted my repeat. So this is row 3 that I'm marking, and I've worked row 3, 4, and 5 just like normal. And then at row 6, which is this row right here, that's where I'm bringing in my new color. And so I start the row out in my new color B, and then I pick up old color B for these 3 double crochets. I go back to new color B and continue to work. Then again, as I'm repeating for a second time this design, I pick up old color B for those 3 double crochets, then back to new color B, old color B, back to new color B, old color B, finishing out this last top of the heart, this little half heart, and then ending in new color B. And as you can see at the end of the row, I have 2 strands of yarn. And I wanted to specifically show this before we go into doing this together. We're going to work this together. But I wanted to show it beforehand so that those of you who are needing a visual representation of what we're doing. We're now going to begin row number 6. And row 6 is a color B row. And we're going to be changing out color B this time for a new color. So I have 2 yarns back here. Both of these are going to be acting as color B for this row. So we're going to insert and join on just like normal, but we're going to be joining on with our new color B first. But we need to pin down and kind of keep our old color B handy because we're going to need that in just a few stitches. So we want to lay old color B just kind of on our hook out of the way, and then we're going to grab new color B and we're going to pull up a loop. So as you can see, old color B is just laying there, and it's going to get kind of pinned down. So we're going to chain 1, go back in like normal, making sure that we're keeping our working strand of color B, the old one right here, handy and kind of pinning it. Row 6 repeat begins with 2 single crochets, and the second one we are going to do our color change. So we're working in our new color B, doing our first single crochet of our repeat. So there's 1. And now here's number 2, but we're going to do a color change. So we're going to pull up just 1 loop. And before we finish the stitch, we're going to drop color B that we've been using, or you can grab it with your fingers and kind of hold it back out of the way. And then we are going to grab up new, or the next color B, I should say, old color B, and we're going to finish out the top of the stitch. Now we need to do 3 tapestry double crochets. So this is just a modified double crochet from what we've been doing. We're going to make sure that we take color B, new color B, that we're not using currently, and lay it over. And here in this next stitch, we're going to start out like we're doing a single crochet, but then we'll work a double crochet. So you insert into the back loop and pull up a loop. And then we grab or wrap our yarn, and we are going to grab our loop directly below, just like normal. We're going to pull up our loop. Now we're going to grab our yarn and we're going to pull through those first 3 loops. And then we're going to finish out our double crochet just like normal. We need to do another one. So here's number 2. And last but not least, we have number 3 with color change. So we start out just like normal. And we complete half of the stitch. in our current color, and now we allow that to fall, picking up new color B to finish out the top of the stitch. Now we're going to work 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and number 3. Now we need to do a double crochet, and we're going to do a modified tapestry double crochet. Now we're going to do 3 single crochets. There's 1. On the third, we're going to be doing a color change. There's 2. And number 3 with color change. Pick it up. Now we're going to work 3 tapestry double crochets. There's 1. Number 2. Number 3 with color change. So picking up. And we're going to finish the bottom of the stitch and stop and color change to finish out the last part or top of the stitch. Now we're going to work 1 single crochet in the next stitch to end the repeat. So now let's recap what we have done. So row 6 begins with new color B, and we work 2 single crochets, second one with our color change. Then we work 3 double crochets in our previous or old color B. On the third, we do a color change so that we go back to new color B and work 3 single crochets, 1 double crochet, and then 3 more single crochets, with the third one having our color change. Then we work 3 double crochets in our old color B. On the third, we color change and go back to our new color. So when you pick up and continue to work on down your row, you're going to see that the only parts that we are working in our old color are just the tops of the hearts, which are made up by 3 double crochets. All of our other stitches on this row in the repeat are all done in our new color B. So it's pretty simple to work. You're going to continue down the row. You will switch back at the end just like normal. You'll end the row just like normal. Nothing else changes about it other than us picking up another color for a few stitches in our repeat. So now you're going to continue to work in your new color B for the remainder of the rows. And I'm going to meet up with you again at row 18, where we're going to do a color change again. We're now meeting up at row 18. So we are going to be joining on a new color B again. So row 18's repeat is exactly like what we've been doing, but we're going to be using 2 colors, just like we did back on row 6. So we're going to be working in our new color B, but we need to have our old color B handy. So we're going to lay that across our hook. And we're in the first stitch of our row, and we're going to do our traditional single crochet in our new color. So we're going to draw up that loop, chain 1, and Making sure that we have old color B pinned. We finish out our single crochet. Now our repeat for row number 18 begins with 1 double crochet. We are going to do a tapestry double crochet. So we pull up like we're doing a single crochet and then wrap and go back down, picking up our front loop just like normal. Now we're going to work 3 single crochets, and on our 3rd single crochet we'll be doing a color change. So 1, 2, and on our 3rd we do our color change. So we pick up like normal and then we drop color we're using and pick up our other color B, because we are going to finish out in that. And then we can just kind of tug on everything a little bit to tighten it up. Now we're going to do 3 double crochet. So we're going to be doing that tapestry double crochet, making sure we're pinning down the color we just dropped. So we go into that stitch and pick up our loop. And now we wrap and do the double crochet just like normal. There's number 1. Our 3rd is going to have our color change, so we want to make sure that we work that color change. And now here's our 3rd one with color change. Now we're going to go down. Now we drop the color that we're currently using and pick up our new color to finish out the top of that stitch. Now we will be working 3 single crochets, and on the 3rd one we will have a color change. So working in our new color B, we begin doing our single crochets. 1, 2, and on our 3rd we are going to color change. So we start and then we drop that color and pick up our other color B, finishing out the top of the stitch. Now we make sure we pull that strand of the new color B to the front, so we're working over it. And we're going to work 3 of our double crochets or tapestry double crochets. So we go in, there's 1, here's number 2, doing a double crochet. And on our 3rd one that we're going to do our color change on that one. So we start it, come down. Now we're going to work through those first 3, and then we stop, drop that yarn and pick up our new color to finish out the top of our stitch. Now we're going to do 3 single crochets to end out that repeat. So we just want to make sure we're pinning our yarn. And we do 1, 2, and 3. So that ends our repeat. So let's recap it. So again, this time, just as we saw before, we are working the exact repeat as we did the first time around on the row, but this time we do our color change. So our repeat for row 18 begins with working in our new color B, 1 double crochet. Then we work 3 single crochets, and on the 3rd single crochet, we do our color change. Then we work 3 tapestry double crochets. Third one having our color change. Then we work 3 single crochets with the third having our color change. Then we work 3 double crochets. The third has a color change. And then we work 3 single crochets. So you'll pick back up on your repeat and begin working in that exact same manner all the way down your row. And you can apply this same method or technique to a lot of different patterns to bring in color in a way that will allow you to work majority of your pattern in mosaic crochet, but you can use this technique just to pop in that color where you need to so that you don't have any drastic color changes on your projects. So until next time, I appreciate you so much for watching, and I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you found the color change information to be helpful. I'm by no means an expert, but this is how I do it, and if you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you would like to, but as always, I appreciate you so much for watching. Bye for now.